Okay, so here I am. I'm in Tamworth. It's quite funny. I've got the camera glued to the steering wheel of this hire car. It's a Toyota Yaris. Good car for the city, maybe, but not good for country driving. But anyway, I just want to tell this little story that's come to mind, and it is that I have an impending sense of doom. What do I mean by that? I'm driving around country Australia. So I'm in central New South Wales, a town called Tamworth. I'm currently just driving around looking for accommodation. I'm going to be out here for the next few weeks doing solar sales, selling solar power. And the place I'm in at the moment is not very nice, so I'm just finding an alternative accommodation so I can keep my sanity. This place is as dry as a camel's crack. They haven't had rain here for months. The main dam is down to 17% capacity, apparently. And so the story goes, when it gets to 15, something nasty happens. Today, the secondary dam that feeds that dam apparently is now just a write-off. It's empty, it's dry. The whole state has been in drought. Most of Queensland has been in drought for years. There's major bushfire season happening right now in South East Queensland, which is where I've just come from, which is in the very beginning of spring. So, and here I am in Tamworth, and it is really dry. Just checking the navigation with the other iPhone. It's really dry. There's a hot wind, and I've just been reading about Hurricane Dorian, which has just ground Grand Bahama Island into the earth, and a Cat 5 hurricane sit on it for a couple of days, and is shortly potentially to make a landfall, I think, somewhere else, North Carolina. Anyway, I'm reminded of this article that I read a while ago, which really stuck with me. And it's called "Drowning Doesn't Look Like Drowning," and it's written by a sea captain, and apparently it got published in this journal, and then it went viral, so it just pops up all over the place. If you Google it, you'll find it. Drowning doesn't look like drowning. And what the guy says is that a lot of times people drown in close proximity to their friends and family, because most people don't know what a drowning person looks like. We are conditioned through TV and movies that a drowning person waves their arms around and shouts and screams. Well, in fact, what happens when somebody's drowning is they're so preoccupied with not dying. There is a truck full of sheep driven past, off to an abattoir probably, poor things. When people are actually drowning, their arms go out sideways to keep their head above water, and they do their best just to gasp air. They don't have the capacity to override those automatic tendencies in order to actually take the time out to wave their arm or to shout, "Help, I'm drowning." So drowning people actually look quite calm. It looks quite passive. And that if you glanced across at your friend who's drowning, you'd think he's just treading water, when in fact he's on his way down. And that really struck a nerve with me, that article, because I am an environmental scientist who has spent 20 years reading and studying and participating and training in the arts of climate change, abrupt climate change, ecosystem collapse, and I see it everywhere now. I see it everywhere. And, you know, attribution studies are required in order to associate, you know, what proportion of, you know, a superstorm was associated with the impacts of climate change. But the point is, you know, you're starting to see the system come down everywhere. I mean, quite apart from the fires in Alaska, the fires in Siberia, the fires in Brazil, which are a little bit different, I guess, in a way, because they're so deliberately lit. You know, the sea ice contraction, the Greenland's melting. I mean, you know, for most people, they don't don't really know what any of those things mean. But for me, I can just see it all. They're like pieces of, like stones strung together in a doom necklace. And driving around out here, the air is all hazy and dusty because it's so dry out here. I mean, it's just parched. It's and you just get this sense that something grim is coming down the pipeline. And my rational mind tells me that that's exactly the case. But of course, when you walk around in the town, everybody's not even thinking about it. Nobody's really thinking about it. Nobody is thinking about it. Or there's such a small proportion of the population that are thinking about it that it's just not getting addressed. And which means that it is going to degrade, conditions are going to get worse and worse. And at some point, everyone's going to go, whoa, we've got a problem. And of course, by that stage, we'll be well and truly deep within the world of having a problem. I hope that makes sense to you. I just wanted to share that. See you later.